What up, guys? It is Squill. Don't really do this much, but seems fun, so we're gonna try out like a trade review video style. Um, First, let me pull up today's orders and game plan. Turn down the music just a tad. All right, so that is today's orders and the game plan. We'll discuss the game plan in greater measures once we actually get into it. But that's what I had this morning. I posted it on Twitter and in the Discord. And then, like I said, that's today's orders. So let's hop into it. All right. So now we have got TOS pulled up. That's what I use to trade about 95% of the time. So one thing I want to note real quick, I was 2-1 today. Uh, Accounts up really nice to start the year. I did the math. I think it's like 96.8% or something like that. So only being 6 trading days into the year, I'm really happy with that. I definitely sized down today because yesterday I had a 24% day on the account, but even after sizing down today and taking less trades, still made it out with 11% after a loss. So that was a really nice day. Can't be upset at all. So the first trade I took today was QQQ. But I want to start on Apple real quick. So Apple was definitely the weak name this morning. It was QQQ calls, by the way. Let me get this to fit the screen I want. That's good right there. Oops. I'm all over the place. All right, here we go. So Apple is definitely the weak name today. As you can see, we kind of fell under this opening print pretty quickly. Kind of orbed to the downside here a little bit. But I still had conviction in calls because of these bottom wicks, like all along here. Let me see if I can highlight real quick. Basically, that bottom wick to like this candle here. Look at all these wicks down here. That shows you that the buyers are protecting this level, and we can throw a price level right here at the bottom of this candle and see that that gets held pretty well through here. So that's just something I was taking into account. Even though we were underneath the EMAs and VWAP, I still had a lot of conviction in a move to the upside on QQQ and SPY. So I started off on QQQ. This was my first, I guess it's my second loss of the year on QQQ, but the other one was during FOMOC. And I literally just traded one contract straddle. So that was not really too crazy. But as you can see, like I said, I mentioned here, we can just pull up the game plan real quick. I'm all over the place again. All right, game plan, QQQ, that upside level is 269.92, 270.93, 272, 273.32, 274.64. So we see that. I can leave this up on this at least because it doesn't really get in our way. But I entered here because we were holding my 270.93 level after running up to 272. So I'm thinking, all right, we didn't really get a retest of this level in this first candle at all. So now that we came down and we were holding it for the time being, I thought that somewhere between here and the 9 EMA was a good place to enter calls. It wasn't awful. I definitely followed my trade plan, even though it resulted in a loss. I said that I was entering right around 9 EMA, price targets of this 270.93, and then a new high of day up at this 272. And my stop loss was going to be the 200, and I followed it to a T, so I can't really be upset. Even though we ended up going on a pretty nice run after that, as you can see all through here. I was fine with getting stopped out there, but I was able to kind of like clear my head pretty quickly and then hop into some SPX trades, which made it back and then some. So that was really nice. So now we'll move over to SPY. And I traded SPX using the SPY chart. I can zoom in real quick here. Computer is moving slow today. Okay, so this is going to get a little hectic for a second, but I want to pull up the levels again. Upside levels, we have 387, 66, 388, 35, 390, 51, 392, 64, 393, 53. So now that we have that covered, I took two separate trades here. Both are pretty good trades. I followed my plan well with them, and both of them were profitable. So that's always something nice to see. But this first trade, we kind of, on this candle, we flushed first and then came up and reclaimed VWAP. So that's where I entered my calls. And, you know, we're kind of forming, let me just draw this real quick. Maybe. Holy smokes, she's moving slow. Alright, so we're kind of forming this, like, bull flag thing here. Nice controlled pullback, nothing insane in terms of like selling volume. Obviously on this candle we had a little bit of an increase in volume, but the fact that we reclaimed all of this, closed above the 9 on this candle, and then we wicked down again but had some buyers. I bought right around VWAP, and obviously I used my first level as my price target here, this 388.35. So somewhere between here and the top of this candle I trimmed about half of my position. You know, my goals for this week were to let my winners ride a little longer, you know, like have my runners turn into track stars type deal. And then the second, which we'll get into, is kind of rolling my contracts, like finding a good spot to enter in the first, taking profits near the high, waiting for a little pullback, rolling into some new contracts, and then kind of just riding it out. So both of those we did, but for now we'll stick to the letting the winners ride. Took half my position off here. And then this next candle, we kind of, it was an indecision candle, long wicks on each side. But you can see that we held this 388.35 level. So I'm staying in these contracts. We can still 3-bar up from here. So that's kind of the idea behind me staying in those contracts. But then the next candle, obviously we failed this level and came down eventually to VWAP, which we'll get into, but I cut once we failed this level. SPX contracts, they move fast. I wanted to secure my profits, so that's exactly what I did with that. So then the second trade, which was rolling into better contract, I cut here, and literally like 90 seconds later we're down at VWAP. And I was like, you know, we started to get a buyer reaction off of it. And I just thought to myself that it was a good time to buy calls again because we were holding it. And, you know, every bottom wick so far during the day had been bought up. Even though the green candles were outnumbered, they were bigger in, like, momentum than these red candles. None of the red candles are bigger than any green candle that we had up to this point. So that's why I entered calls the second time. Came up. We closed right under that 388.35 level. Next candle, we closed right over it. And then we finally got that push all the way up here. I sold my last contracts at like 10:12 a.m. So this being it was somewhere in here that I sold my last contracts off, which was really nice. Those contracts were like 50-60%. So that was just really good to see. On this trade, however, I did not let any winners keep going. I took the whole position off at once. I was up pretty big for the day. Didn't want to give those gains back, so I decided that was a good spot to kind of take it off. And thankfully I did, because as you can see, we fell right back down after that. So those were my trades for today. 3 trades, 2-1. Can't complain at all about that. I'm 12-4 to start the year, so it's a pretty good start. Most important thing is to keep it going, not getting too cocky, but staying confident in what I have planned out each and every morning. So yeah, this was fun. I'll try and do these more. Today was 3 pretty good trades, so that's what I've got for you guys, and talk later. See ya.